Morning, welcome to Buck Don't Know Shit. It's another day in Texas. Beautiful day. It's April 11th and it's like 60 degrees outside and beautiful blue skies. Look at that. Man, what a beautiful day. So today, got my rear end done. It's pretty awesome. Stoked about that. So today I am working on front suspension. Control arms. I got to put these back together, do these little Dumafachis and the squid configurators, and do a little painting. Got stuff to paint still, little miscellaneous stuff. Got to get the spindles out of the Evapo-Rust, throw a little paint on them. See, I got all the rest of my front suspension parts with the Eastwood on them. So they're good, ready to go. Like I said, spindles are the last thing. I'll paint them while I'm putting all the other stuff in. I will have to get the coil springs in before I put the spindles in, so it might take me a minute. Not looking forward to that job. It was sketchy getting them out. I have a feeling it's gonna be sketchy putting them back in. Yeah, not looking forward to that. Excited. Thursday, pretty much on pace with where I thought I would be. I was hoping to at least have the front suspension. I wanted to finish it Friday. It may not be quite finished, but I will have parts going back in by the weekend. Got a busy weekend. Crawfish boil Saturday. Gonna be hungover Sunday. Probably not gonna do a whole lot on Sunday. I do need to change oil in my wife's car, my truck, my daughter's car. Sounds like a good hungover job rather than getting out here and working on the car. But we'll see how the weekend goes. But yeah, so that's it. Let's get started. Vintage Thunderbird, he has a video rebuilding these upper control arms and these O-rings that go inside these nuts. He recommends cutting little like relief grooves in them for the grease to get by. And I guess it makes sense. You put a grease zert on there. If it's all sealed up tight, which these are tight on when they go on here, then yeah, I mean, it's just going to pressure up and you're not going to get grease actually to go through there where you want it. That's what I'm doing. I'm going through. I'm just putting 4 little triangular cuts in them. So I think that'll be enough. I mean, it's just, you just want a little room for air and then maybe eventually grease to kind of pass by, but nothing too fancy here. Gonna get these set up. All right, got it set up, O-rings in place. I went ahead and put a little grease by hand in here. I know I bought a little box of grease zerts somewhere. I have no fucking idea where I put them, but I'll find them eventually. Not a big hurry on that, but I do have some little 90 ones so that you can get a grease gun to them, because once it's in the car, I believe one side you may be able to get to, the other side there's no way in hell if it's sticking straight out. So I will be putting those in. Probably won't, it's not like this thing's rotating. Probably the grease I put in there will last. Nobody's ever going to grease these again, but I'll put grease zerts on them. Yeah, it's moving. I think everything's good the way it's supposed to be. This is just set in there. I am going to go press these in a minute. I'll show that next. I'm going to go ahead and put my other arm together. Had to get my Dremel tool and clean out paint and stuff that I got inside there, but all that area is clean now and ready to insert this ball joint. So this is my setup for setting the ball joint in the upper control arm on this Thunderbird. What I have here is a fixture, and it's a little snug, but it's a 3-inch pipe with a 1/4-inch wall, and this thing fits just perfect. The boot sits down the side of it. That way I'm not damaging the boot, not pressing on it. I greased it up a little bit. Figure that might help. And Got the stud, don't want to press on that, so I have a, this came with one of my pressing kits. It's perfect for this. You could use a socket, would work fine. Something big enough to go over this stud as it comes up through here. What I'll do is get it snug, get this thing started, and then stop and check it, make sure everything looks good. I'm not going to press it all at one time. Stop a couple times, take a look, make sure everything's fine before we press it all the way in. Got it pretty snug there. Just want to double check, run it up a little, not much. Okay, the stud is coming up through. So we are on the right path now. Looks like it's bottomed out there. Yeah. I'll go put my nut on this side, although I don't think it's going anywhere, but we will do the retaining nut, of course. Keep that fixture for future jobs, but there you go. It's pressed in place. Ready to go in the car. All right, a few things. Upper control arms are ready. That's my shock clevis, I guess you call it. So they're done. Got them good to go. The lower control arms. So I got a few things I have to do. These don't fit right, fortunately. And I did see Exit 45, he had to do this, so I'm gonna have to go in and grind these kind of at an angle, get this where it'll set down in there. And these plates do fit. I got both the left and right for those. They're side specific. Yeah, bolt up underneath. And I don't know that they're really necessary. I think they're just maybe to when you're tightening down on the strut, just to kind of protect the control arm itself. I would imagine that's the purpose of them. Yeah, I really don't know. Just to give it all a little more strength, maybe. But all right, so see, I had to trim this off to get it to fit right. For now, I just tighten these three down to snug this up, and I will come back, loosen those, add this bracket in there, and put the lock washers on, and be done with this end of the control arm. Still gotta get these pressed in here. This is these are a lot harder to press in than I thought they'd be. Figured they would just kind of tap in. I got them in my deep freeze right now. Gonna see if maybe they'll shrink enough. I'm gonna give it about an hour try. That's my course of action with those. So we'll see how that works. These here, it's kind of, and I do have some paint in here, but on this one I had to actually grind. There was some metal, not on this one, but that one over there. And I think that is just some Eastwood paint. But the other one, there was some places where the metal was not quite perfectly round. I had to grind down to get it to fit. You can kind of see right there it was sticking out, and there was one other spot. Maybe I ground it down enough. Thought it was somewhere over here. Anyway, just some notes. You are going to have to work on these a little bit. I have been cleaning these up with my Dremel tool, grinding them out. There is no paint. I've been trying to bevel the leading edge of that smaller one, and I can get them in. I can get it to where the rubber is actually sticking out a little bit on this side when it comes through, but cannot get this big end to press in here yet. I did try to put this one on my press, but I felt like it was squeezing the arm instead of pressing it through. So yeah, I don't know. It may end up being what I have to do. Then I just have to use the press and press them. Maybe I gotta put something in there to keep it separated. I don't know. I'll figure something out. I haven't like tried everything, but I am going to try to freeze them for an hour or two and see if a little bit of shrinkage and some extra cleaning I did will get them to press in a little easier. I want to be able to do it just tapping them in with the hammer, but we'll see what happens. There they are next to the dino nuggets. So yeah, we'll see. These are some off, my wife said they're not off brand. You know, that's dino nuggets. This is like Jurassic World nuggets. I mean, come on. Made by John Sewell's Foods. I don't know. I mean, look at that dinosaur. It looks stupid. Look at that. That looks delicious. Well, it was not easy, but and I still, I guess I am not quite complete, but just imagine that is on there. That is lower control arm, pretty much complete. This was a little pain in the butt. Had to, of course, cut out on the sides and to get that to fit on that end, and had to kind of suck it in without this bracket. You can see one of my lock washers squirted out from under there. I'll have to fix that. This bushing, the freezing, I don't think helped. Had to clean a lot, and although it did go in and got it in with the hammer, so maybe it helped, I don't know. But still got the other one in the freezer. I'm gonna do this one tomorrow. Make sure that's all cleaned up good, but yeah. And I still gotta find those bolts for that. Getting the control arms assembled. Still have, I think I gotta locate one more bolt for these bushings, for these pieces here. And, but other than that, lower control arms are built. Upper control arms are built, ready to go. Bolt those in the car. I gotta get this stabilizer bar out of the car. The old one, I do have a new heavy duty stabilizer bar. It's at least, I would say, a 1/4 inch bigger in diameter. Gonna see how that fits. I'm gonna keep everything for the old stabilizer bar. I may end up just cleaning it and putting it back in if the new one doesn't fit quite right. But I mean, I ordered it from a Thunderbird Place. Has all the brackets and everything that come with it. I'm assuming it's gonna work, so we will see. And there's my nemesis right there. This bolt is holding this on. The other one didn't have this bracket that's holding the fuel line on, which makes it very difficult to get a wrench on this. Basically, you can't get a box ring wrench on it. You can't get a socket on it. You have a little room. You can get a open end box end wrench on this, but then you have nowhere to wrench on it, basically. All right, not saying this is the only way to do this, but this is what worked for me. The little short socket, you see right there, and a little extension that came with the kit, and then I've got a 7/16 wrench that fits that, and it is actually turning. Now I don't want to turn it anymore because I don't want to drop this stabilizer bar on my head, because this is the last bolt holding it. But yeah, that is what got it, and it was actually not bad. I did have to get a like chisel and a hammer and knock this little clip bracket in a little bit to allow me to get this socket on there, just kind of flatten it out. Once I did that, I was able to get that little socket on it. Still don't think you could get a regular socket on this, just no way. And like I said, there was no good way to get a open-ended wrench on it either. But this is working. Basically just took the right tool. Well, I would say it is much more stout. These probably 3/4. I could put calipers on it, maybe the 1.25 inch, but it is almost twice as big around. Let's see how much trouble I have getting this in the car actually. Lengthwise and kind of depth-wise, it looks like it'll work. I'm not sure about this area here, but you know, it is supposed to fit this car, so we'll soon find out. Alright, it's in. Let's have it loose right now. I gotta go get one more bolt. Don't know, seems like I always have like 4 bolts, I'll have 3. I actually left 2 of them in the bolt holes, which makes sense, and of course I had this one that I couldn't get backed out. Don't know what I did with the other one though. It's just not there, and not in my pile of bolts either. I may have used them somewhere else, who knows. Anyway, just a 5/16 bolt. I'll go get another one. But this is in. It is gigantic compared to the old one. I don't think it's going to sit that low, but you hear it hits the pulley coming off the engine if it's down that far. But I'm thinking it's going to sit like that, so it should be okay. And I never checked the other one, but it probably would do the same thing. But yeah, anyway, we'll get it all put together and see how it does. But yeah, that was very easy. Nothing to that.